Alright, I let this dry overnight, the primer. I used a 2K polyester primer on it. Came out really good. So a lot of vendors, they say they'll primer your part, but you guys need to remember, just because a vendor sent you a part that's primered doesn't mean it's ready for paint. You still have to block sand this. It looks like orange peel. If you get real close, you see that? That's orange peel. That's from several layers of primer. Okay, so all that needs to be blocked down. 320 grit, 400 should be fine to block this down, to get it real smooth. You can do it wet or dry. I'm going to do it dry. If I run through the primer, I'll do one more coat. But yeah, guys, I mean, just because somebody says, oh, it's a primer part, doesn't mean you're going to get a ready for paint part. And also, one more thing, watch out from this stuff. Primers that are in an aerosol can. This is not going to be a good primer for your bumper or any part. I mean, you can use it, but I don't recommend it. I mean, you could even use, this one says high build, well, not this one. This one says high build formula. But believe me, I've sprayed this on bumpers. It's not high build, and it's pretty much a lacquer. As soon as you spray paint on it, it's probably gonna come right off and get wet again. So I don't recommend any aerosol cans for any parts. But if you're on a budget and you don't have a sprayer, you don't have a compressor, I mean, you can do it. But I wouldn't. At least I wouldn't do it for the exterior parts. I mean, I wouldn't do it at all. But I've done it. I'm guilty of it. I've done it. But I don't recommend it. If you want a show quality part, use a 2K primer. You'll get better results. It's much more high build, as you can see. It's really thick. I put 3 layers. One light layer first. Flashed it for 5 minutes. Then I put 2 medium coats on. Flashed in between. So yeah, guys, so just be careful. I mean, a lot of you guys don't know about body work, paint and all that. That's why I'm telling you guys. Make sure you use 2K primer, urethane, polyester. Just make sure it's a 2K. It's got a hardener that comes with the primer, and you'll be good. After that, you should sand it down 320, 400. You can go all the way up to 500, 600 grit wet if you want to get it real smooth before paint. Alright, I wanted to show you the different types of sanding blocks I use. I picked this up. It's soft sanders, and these are good because they're real flexible. I have Durablock, but if you ever buy a Durablock, you're going to realize it's really hard. It's almost got no flex to it. I mean, it's solid. It's really straight. You're not going to get much bend. For a bumper like this that has lots of curves in it, good luck. So I picked up these soft sanders, and as you can see, look, it's almost like a sponge, and it'll bend real easy. And they have different ones, and you're going to need different ones to get into the grooves. You know, it's a lot easier if you have different ones with different shapes to them. And again, these are really soft. You can see that it bends really easy. They even make sandpaper for it. I sound like an advertisement company for these people, but they have sandpaper that they sell that's more flexible for it. But you can use regular stick-on sandpaper as well. And see, like, this is a real nice one. It's got a curve to it. And actually, when you're sanding, it will even you can even make it straight. So say I'm sanding a curve and it's flat on one side, you could actually push down and it'll go straight. So these are really useful for sanding curves. See how it's got a curve there, it's got a curve here. It's perfect for sanding these curves. And it's got a little smaller one. So yeah, that's what I use to get these bumpers really nice. Again, Durablock, I got a nice set of that. You can pick up a set for about 45 bucks online if you look around. And you know, it comes with different ones as well. But like I said, these are really hard. The only one I'm really going to probably use is this one out of the set for this bumper, and it's just going to be for the top. Block the top out, 320, 400 grit. And then, I mean, it's pretty much useless for everything else because it's too curvy. That's when I'll get my soft blocks. Or you can even get one of these. It's a big block, soft sanding block as well, and this one flex too. So you need something soft to get into these round curves, you guys. Alright, I wanted to show you guys one more thing. So I'm over here blocking this. I put a 400 to see if that would cut into this, and obviously it's not. And when you're blocking, you're always going to go crisscross. But you can see this was done 400, and you can see that a lot of orange peel still. So it's not cutting enough. You're going to be here all day scrubbing trying to get it smooth. So I put on 320 and I did this side. It's a little bit better. But if you're still not down far enough where it's level, you're probably going to have to go even down to 220. So I'm going to throw on some 220 and work on this a little bit and see if that gets it smoother. It'll just cut into it faster. Yeah, so I ran one mist and 2 medium coats of primer. So, and that's high build primer that I put on here, so it's really thick. So I dropped it down to 220. I could probably even go 180, maybe even 150, but if you're not careful, you're going to run through the primer really fast. So again, working back and forth all the way from the top. It's kind of hard to do with one hand and one hand on the camera, but you want to work all the way up and all the way down. Okay, and you can see how smooth it's getting on this side, and that's what you want. Once you don't see any of these little craters, you know it's flat. So like that, it's flat, some craters, and that's how you know it's blocked out good enough. And remember, you can work your way up 220. Once you start getting smoother, you can put 320. I got one for each one: 220, 320, and 400. So you can work your way up finer and finer grits, all the way up to 500-600 grit before paint. So right now I'm just going to go up to 400. And again, with some air, get your air gun, and always, every so often, make sure you spray off the dust with your spray gun. So you want to get the air off of it with your air gun. Ugh, I can't talk. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. But anyways, every so often I'll go blow this off and make a mess in the garage here. But yeah, that's what you got to do to keep your disc clean. And if you want that straight line here, mask it off. It'll be worth it. You'll get a nice even crest. There's a little fender line here, and when I made the mold, you can see the line that it's there, because I used masking tape to tape it off, and then primered it, and then blocked it, and made sure the line was nice and straight there. So again, put some masking tape there, block that side, remove it, put some tape on the other side, block the bottom side. Anywhere you want a sharp line, you'll do that. If you want a sharp line here, same thing. And I think that's pretty much it. That's the main lines if you want to keep. You don't have to do the line here, but it's nice for it to feather in from this line. There's a little line that goes down the fender. It's nice to just have that line that goes right there, and it looks part of the car. And I think, yeah, there's 2 lines on the sides, and just that line down the middle. I like to keep that line and the line down here. Alright, so I just block sanded it, 220, 320, 400, and look how smooth it is. Perfect. So then I just remove the tape. Alright, so I was blocking it with 220 right now, and you can see this. If it's dark clumps like this, that means it's a low spot. And that's kind of where the seam line was. And I knew it was there, so when I was priming, I made sure I put extra thick primer right here, because it's a high build primer. I'm not using it as a filler, but I know it was very, very small low spot. So most of the time, you can block it out. If you can't block it out, if I run all the way through the primer, I'm going to have to put some glazing putty there, and reprimer it. But I don't think it's very, very small low spot, so I'll probably be able to block it out. As you can see, I'll do it while I have the camera up so you can see what I'm talking about. I just barely started on it, so I know I have a thick layer of primer there that I can burn through. And like I said, this is kind of hard to do one hand. Nobody's holding the bumper for me. But as you can see, look at that. The low spot's going away. Still a little bit there. But like I said, a little bit more blocking. It's very faint. A little bit more blocking and that'll come right out. But sometimes you'll run into that and it'll be a real low spot and you have to fill it. And if you fill it, you gotta primer it. But thankfully I don't think I'm gonna run through that. Alright, just got that finished up. And as you can see, it's smooth. The low spot is gone completely. Because like I said, I put a good 3 layers of primer on here. High build, that's the whole point. High build primer surfacer is what gets the panel or the bumper, whatever you're working on, nice and flat. And I'd recommend you guys doing one, if you're going to do this work yourself, do one section at a time, or else you're going to lose your head, you're going to get bored. And with a bumper with this many curves, I'm telling you, you're going to want to throw in the towel fairly quick. Alright, just got most of the top sanded, block sanded, and I just did the bottom all the way across. And the sides, both sides were done. And next we have that line that I taped up that I told you guys mask off. Before you rip this off, you could always take another piece of masking and do the bottom before you take this off so it's straight. So you know it's straight. So sometimes it's kind of hard to find. But yeah, and then once you do this side, you could do the other half of it. Alright, now I got the top done. I got the bottom done. I got this flat piece here sanded. So it's pretty much done. Now you just have to go back and get these little pieces like right here, inside here. I didn't do this yet. I got to do the edges here. And that I'm just gonna use a soft block. This is a really soft one, see it bends. I'm going to use this to get all up in there, and I'm just going to use 400 grit for all those areas because those are on edges and stuff. You don't want to burn through them. And then I should be done blocking it with the 400. Alright guys, it's about 3, maybe 4 hours later, and I just got finished sanding this whole bumper, blocking it. I did it up to 400 grit. Okay. Again, if somebody says there's on a part and it says out of mold, ready for paint, and you get it primered and it doesn't look kind of scuffed up the way this one does. I know I only went to 400 grit. I'm still going to go 600 wet on it to make it ultra smooth, so it's really ready for paint. But yeah, if it's just primered and it's not blocked, it's not ready for paint, guys. So I mean, that's still another. You're looking at, for a bumper this with this many curves, it's like 3 hours to block it right and to get it ready for paint. And I still haven't even wet sanded it 600 grit, which is the last stage right before, you know, painting it. And then you put primer sealer on it before paint and all that. But regardless, this is how it looks after I primered it and blocked it. But yeah, it came out pretty good. I just put some bug and tar remover on it, blew it off and put that on to clean it up a little bit. Also, when you get the little line here, when you have the line and you take the masking tape off, you're going to have a real sharp line. You want to smooth that out just a little bit. You'll still see the line when it's painted, but you don't want to have it where it's rough. So smooth that out a little bit as well.